Hey guys, how do you tell apart a false teacher, a false prophet from a real one? The obvious answer is you compare what they say with scripture, and if it is in keeping with the spirit of scripture, then they are the real deal. But that might be very difficult for somebody who isn't an expert themselves, right? I think there is a better way, and the better way is to find out if they actually know Christ. And you can find out that without being an expert, because we all know people, we know how it goes, how we talk about our loved ones, for example. To find out if somebody knows Christ, I think it's easier. I'm gonna give you an example of like a question that reveals if somebody knows him or not. You know the Pontius Pilate guy who sent Christ to his death? He washed his hands in water. Was that an empty gesture, do you think? What do you think that's all about? Does that mean anything? He washed his hands of the whole thing in water. It's not an empty gesture because Christ is the kind of person who forgives him. He accepts that he washed his hands of the whole thing. And if you think about it, that makes complete sense. None of us get a vote. We might accuse Pontius Pilate and say, "You dumbass, you are the one who sent him to his death, because the ancient Jews wanted it. You did this evil thing. You weren't even on board with it, you washed your hands of the whole thing, but you went along with it anyway. Of course you're guilty." We don't get to be the judge of that. It's Christ who decides. And he is the kind of person who forgives him. I wonder that when he was undergoing that trial, if this Pontius Pilate guy seemed like almost like a nice guy to him. He was the closest thing to a friend he had in that room, I think. So find out if somebody knows Christ, and if that seems correct, then they should be the real deal. But you have to know Christ yourself also. Who is God? He's the kind of person who gives his life for yours.